Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here to continue on with our ranking of every live action Disney remake. We started off yesterday with what was, in my opinion, the worst live action Disney remake. We're going to continue that countdown today. Coming in at number 18. Before I reveal what title it was, just know that it was a really tough decision to decide which of these two movies was worse than the other between this one and yesterday's um ranking. So coming in at a very second close to the worst is none other than Pinocchio. I have no idea why I always have feel the need to say his name that way, but yeah, coming in at number 18 is Pinocchio. This was another movie that, well, I don't think it could have been one of the easiest movies to remake into live action because, for one thing, you have a talking puppet, you have a talking cat, and a talking fox. So do with that as you will. But this movie was really just as bad, if not as bad as Snow White. Um, there was just so much wrong with this movie that I don't even know where to begin with. I mean, for one thing, you have Tom Hanks, who's like probably one of the most biggest actors in the whole world as your main character. And again, kind of like with Gal Gadot and Snow White, this probably was not the best role for him. I mean, I'm pretty sure if they actually took this movie a little bit more seriously, I'm pretty sure he probably could have done a better job as Geppetto. But I really feel like he just like played it up as too, I don't know if you can say too hammy or too, I don't know, really know the exact word for it, but I don't know. There was just something about it that I just didn't like. I mean, yeah, this is one of the movies that just has a lot of changes to it as well. Some for obvious reasons, of course. I'm sure there's a lot of people who prefer the animated versions to these live action remakes because they're not exactly staying true to the animated version, which all these changes up. Just like I'm sure there's people who have actually read these actual stories that these movies are based on. So in this case, like the actual Pinocchio story, I'm sure there's people who just have only ever read these stories and prefer those over the any movie version, because there's obviously a lot of stuff that they changed from the stories into these movies, especially to make them more family friendly in Disney's case. I mean, I've never read the original Pinocchio story, but if you ever have, shout out to you. From what I was heard about the story, it's like way a little bit even darker than the actual Disney version. Because from what I've known, Pinocchio actually kills Jiminy Cricket, who's not even named Jiminy Cricket. He's just referred to as the Cricket. He kills him with a mallet, I believe. And then the cricket comes back as like a ghost or something, which I guess qualifies as his conscience or something. And yeah, it's just I think I might think about looking to reading some of these actual original stories of these movies. But then again, also with this Pinocchio movie, just I actually like okay, I had like a lot of questions like regarding this movie. Okay, like for example, you're this I guess famous wood carver in this town, and obviously you've been asking for a son or to whatever the hell Geppetto was asking for. I honestly don't even remember. But and then all of a sudden your puppet comes to life, and there's your son. Now my question is, why in the hell would you send this miracle? I guess you can call it. Why the hell you just had one of your creations just come to life? Didn't even bother to ask how. Why the hell would you send it off into the world on its own alone? I mean, would you if one of your I don't know. Hmm, one of your puppets or action figures or whatever just suddenly came to life, would you say, "Here, go venture off into the world, go to school and learn on your own"? No, I wouldn't. I'd be like, you're staying your ass at home because there's people out there that would, yeah. So, and then especially so soon after he came to life, because I'm not sure how many days passed from when Pinocchio came to life and when his dad just sent him out into the world. I have no idea. It's never really stated in the movie, but either way, I would not do that if that was me. In that case, like say if one of my cats just decided to get up and start talking and having a conversation with me, I'm like, okay, you know what? Go on out and explore the world. Go take a car ride or something. Go explore. Go explore. Go explore. No, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, another question I have, speaking of cats, why the hell? And this is also a question I also had on the original animated version. Did Geppetto really feel the need to take his collection of pets with him on his looking for Pinocchio? He took his cat, he took his goldfish. Was that? I mean, I know it's probably just, nitpicking at this point, but why? That's just something I never understood, even with the original version. Like, did you really feel the need to take all your pets with you? I mean, I understand. I mean, if you're gonna be gone for a long time, and yeah, I mean, like I said, it could be nitpicking because he was out looking for his son, and who knows how long he'd be gone. I'm pretty sure a fish could, last. That's just I never had a fish for a pet, so I have no idea. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that fish wouldn't have died within a day or two. Like I said, I could be wrong. I never had a fish for a pet, so I don't know. I could just be talking out of my ass at this point. But anyway, yeah, there were some changes in this movie for, I think the whole like Pleasure Island thing, of course, they obviously ain't gonna have Pinocchio drinking beer like he did in the original one because back then everything they just I ideas were different back then. Nowadays, they of course they know more kids are gonna be watching this movie, so of course they're not gonna have this Disney character drinking beer or whatever. So I think they changed it to root beer or something. Um, but yeah, the Blue Fairy was barely in the movie. I mean, race swapping aside or gender swapping aside because it's not really important here. I mean, the Blue Fairy was the one that helped, if I'm not mistaken, helped Pinocchio escape from the circus that he was in the original. But in this one, I guess they introduced a brand new character, which I honestly feel was pretty unnecessary. I mean, that's just my opinion. Because the Blue Fairy is the one that brought Pinocchio to life. She's the one that gave him all these rules, and you got to do what's right, what's wrong, and follow your conscience and whatnot. So shouldn't she have been the one to teach him a lesson for not going to school and end up joining the circus or puppet show, whatever the hell it was, and helping him get out of this predicament? But no, they only showed the Blue Fairy once, and when he in the beginning when she brought Pinocchio to life. And speaking of Pinocchio coming to life, that's another ending of this movie ending that was completely changed because obviously, if you know, I'm pretty sure everyone knows Pinocchio becomes a real boy in the original version. In this one, spoilers ahead if you haven't seen it, they don't even tell you if Pinocchio became a real boy or not. He just saves his dad from the whale. They have a little heart to heart, and the movie ends. Jiminy says, pretty much, it's up to you to decide whether or not Pinocchio became a real boy or not. Do with that as you will, I guess. Um, I think my personal favorite scene out of this whole thing is probably the whole scene with Monstro the whale. I don't even think they made him a whale in this movie. I think he was like more of an actual sea monster. I mean, I'm a big fan of I like whales and stuff, so that's always been one of my favorite parts of the Pinocchio story. Um, so I was like kind of interested to see how they would go about doing that, like how they would make Monstro look and everything. And I think they did a pretty decent job. They went by pretty fast with the whole Monstro scene. It was over before you know it. Um, but yeah, just I don't know. This movie wasn't all that, in my honest opinion. It's really all I can really say about that is just it just really wasn't that good. I'm pretty sure there are people who enjoyed this movie a little bit more. I wasn't one of them. yeah, it was just tied between this and Snow White, which was dead last. I mean, I don't know. This probably could have been one of the ones they could just leave it alone and leave it be as just an animated version instead of making a live action. I'm pretty sure there are maybe better live action versions. Um, I remember the 19 it was like early 90s version of Pinocchio. It wasn't a Disney movie. It was just like more another I don't know how to say adaptation of it or whatever with I don't know if you 90s kids remember who Jonathan Taylor Thomas was. He played Pinocchio. That was more along the lines of actual adaptation of the actual Pinocchio story, kind of like how the Jungle Book movie I talked about yesterday was a adaptation of the actual Jungle Book story. So there was a little bit different things than that, and I actually feel like that movie was a little bit more better than this Disney version. I mean, like for example, the characters of Honest John and Gideon, as you know, on the Disney version, they're like a talking fox and this cat helper. So if you're gonna make a realistic, real life version, wouldn't you like probably work around that and like maybe have like an actual person, I guess, somewhat look like a cat, not an actual fox person or whatever. But yeah, they kind of like they did that in the 90s version. They had someone like not actual physical cat or fox person. They had someone pretty much like resemble them, I guess. And then the end of that movie, they actually got turned into a fox and a cat, if I recall, remember correct. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but yeah, that's coming in as second worst for me. It just really wasn't that good. Probably could have been a little better, especially when you have Tom Hanks as your lead actor. But what can you do sometimes? So yeah, that's my choice for second worst Disney live action remake. We'll find out what the next one is tomorrow. Until then, if you haven't asked me about it, chances are I am going to talk about it anyway. All right. Thank you, and good night.